The Rams are in the driver's seat in the NFC West, while the Cardinals can basically only play spoiler now. AQ, what are you looking for in this game?
Yeah, exactly that. That's the only option you have is to hopefully come out and play spoiler. And this LA Rams team is a dangerous team. They are a team that I don't think a lot of people want to see come playoff time. And I think they're going to get in. I think there's a very solid chance they win this division, get in, and they can then play spoiler in the playoffs. This Cardinals team is dead. It all depends on what we talked about a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. Are the Cardinals booking their tickets for Bermuda already? That's what we got to wonder.
Yeah, that's definitely what we got to wonder. Justin, you've been you played a long time. You've been in played in a few different divisions and been in some tight races. What's the best divisional race you've been a part of? And explain that sort of weekly intensity. So for the Seahawks, for the Rams, it's been back and forth all year. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was back when I was in the NFC East. There was always those back and forth battles in the NFC East. It was either Jay and his Redskins. It was us and the Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles. I think there hasn't been a back-to-back NFC East champion in however many years. Like it's a 20-year streak, which is pretty insane. I mean, it looks like the Eagles might get it this year. But those are the games that make or break a season. And down the line, we played against San Francisco when we had the playoffs all locked up and the 49ers were out of it. They came to Arizona and actually kicked our asses, ran the ball down our throats. And that's what the Arizona Cardinals need to go out there and do when they go and play the Rams this weekend. They have a quality team. James Conner went out with a knee injury today. He was standing on the sideline. So if you can get him back, you feed James Conner the rock, you let him get after it. And hopefully the Arizona Cardinals can help out the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen, we talked about this before, but the Cardinals beat the Rams 41-10 early in the season. I know the Rams are all banged up, but they got a little sour taste in their mouth on that too. And they obviously can continue their little win streak they've got going on playing against them this weekend. And we'll see if the Cardinals show up. I mean, that's a tough loss flying across the country to Carolina. Now you got to go to L.A. That's a tough ask for the Cardinals. But, Jay, talk about Marvin Harrison. I mean, he's by no means had a bad rookie season, but maybe not played as good as people have expected him to. How would you evaluate his play?
I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you. I know he's a rookie, and there's a lot of learning he has to do and different offense and all this rigmarole, but at the end of the day, I expected him to have about 10 to 15 touchdowns, a lot of red zone scores, back shoulder fades, corner the end zones, using his length, his leaping ability. I just haven't seen a whole lot of that. I've seen a lot of drops, a lot of leaking out of his routes, no suddenness to his in and out of cuts. Just been disappointed from what I expected. Now, he's still a very good receiver, don't get me wrong, but I just expected a lot more. A dominating type kid that can run by people, that can catch the ball and run through a catch every now and then and stiff arm somebody. You just don't see that. You see catch and fall down out of bounds, maybe a back of the end zone shot. That's about it. I think he's got a long way to go, but I still think he's got the ability to become a very good football player. But quite honestly, I've just been disappointed.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of drop balls too. I mean, listen, he's dropped some red zone fades. He's dropped balls on the sidelines. Like, there's been some inconsistencies each week in his game. And again, I remember you talking about receivers in the draft, and you were talking about how he didn't run his 40. How fast is he? When you watch his tape, everything's, he's making the 50-50 catches, but a lot of these things are contested. And I think that's carried over into this season. I mean, I've never thrown the ball to him, but at the end of the day, there's never been a time where he's just been, consistently game to game to game, playing well, making all the catches, running by people. It just hasn't showed up. And I think that's been a little bit frustrating for the Cardinals for sure.
It's hard for quarterbacks, Colt, sometimes to say, okay, he's covered, but he's not covered. Throw him open. I mean, every once in a while in the red zone, yes, but out in the field, quarterbacks, when they see a defensive back draped all over a receiver, typically they get off of him. I'm not just going to throw a back shoulder and hope to God he adjusts his body to it. I'm going to try to find Trey McBride or James Conner in a flat or somebody else, Wilson on a crossing route. So his opportunities he'll get more and more opportunities as he gets, more and more years in the league and proves that he can make those catches. Because when Kyler throws him a 50-50 ball and he doesn't come down with it, Kyler's going to say, you know what, I ain't throwing that one next time.
That's
right.
Know
Kyler.
That's right.
And that's the way quarterbacks are. You catch it or you're not getting another one for a while.
That's
And
right.
I think it looks even worse too, because like Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, they're having great seasons. So like you're expecting these receivers just to come out of the draft and be game changers right away. It's what we've gotten used to. I think everyone's expecting him to be the next Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, and it just hasn't been that.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, you got to come down with some of those balls if you want the quarterback to throw it to consistently. But anyways, moving on. Justin, talk about the Rams. A little bit of inconsistency on offense. Some weeks they look extremely dialed. Buffalo Bills, they score like 40-something points. This week they scored 19 points. I know it was cold and windy, but when you look at their offense, you look at their skill group. They some of the best skill guys in the league. Puka, Cooper. They got Tyler Higbee back. Kyron Williams. Why so much inconsistency there?
Yeah, it's one of those areas where there's lulls throughout the season. I mean, you look at the Saints game, you look at the 49ers game. I mean, I was at that game against the 49ers, and it's feel like they never could get these drives going. You want to run duo with Kyron Williams. You want to get Blake Corum involved. Where is Cooper Kupp? Where has Cooper Kupp been? He was the fastest to get to 625 reception over 100 games. Puka Nacua has been the one person that has been reliable in this offense. And that's a question that I think has to get answered if they want to go anywhere going forward into the playoffs.
2 weeks left in the season. Probably the best player on Arizona's offense outside of James Conner, Trey McBride, hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Can he score this week against the Rams?
It's unbelievable to me. This is a hell of a player. To have this type of weapon, maybe they're trying to throw it to Marvin Harrison Jr. too much. I don't know. But you got to get this guy the ball. Give him a formation where he can run an option route or something, a corner route. He runs a hell of a corner. He runs a good stick route. He runs a good stick nod. He runs them all good. It makes no sense to me. Kyler, throw him the ball. Not to mention he might be on my fantasy team. So God dang it, throw him the ball. He's 6'4". He's got great leaping ability. He's got strong hands. He can separate. He's got good explosion in and out of cuts. I mean, what do you want in a red zone target? He's exactly what you want. It's unheard of to me.
4 targets today. 4 targets in a game where you lose 36-30. That's inexcusable. Even get him a little Travis Kelce, little flip pass where you fake it out to the side and you run a little shovel pass to him. Get him something.
Well, you've seen him run after the catch. He's a great runner after the catch. I mean, so you'd want to get him some flat routes, some flat leads, whatever it might be. A naked, a little down flat. Just get him out. I mean, get him the ball in space for God's sakes. That makes no sense to me. But we're all sitting here. They're calling the plays, not us.
That's right. I mean, he's a top 3 or 4 tight end in the league, and the fact that they can't scheme this up to get him something down in the red zone is mind-blowing to me, because there's games where he gets 10 to 15 targets. Make one of those targets inside the 20. Can we do that? How hard is that?
No doubt. Well, Trey McBride hadn't scored a touchdown, but this show's throwing touchdowns for sure. We just went over 10,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone. Continue to like, continue to subscribe. We are on a roll, and we're pumped about this show. We're going to keep going through the playoffs. Keep it rolling, fans. Jay, the Rams defense doesn't get talked about as much as their offense. What do you like about this defense? Pretty young. They've only given up like a combined 15 points per game the last couple of weeks. Tell me about them.
They're young. You're right. And they play hard. They're athletic up front on the defensive line. AQ mentioned how good their defensive line is at a young age. Their linebacking crew is young. Their secondary is fairly young. Chris Shula is calling plays for the first time ever as a defensive coordinator. He's young. So they all kind of play combined young football, young man football, and they're playing hard. And Sean McVay does a good job of Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford of possessing the football. Today against the Jets, they had long drive after long drive after long drive, and it kept that defense fresh. And when that defense is fresh, for all the movement they do, the stunts and the TEs and the ETs and the Pirates and all that stuff, these guys are very difficult to run the ball on. And then they get you in 3rd down and long, and they have enough pass rushers that can get home on single blocks. So I like where they're at. They're just going to continue to get better and better and better. They're by no means in a top 5 defense, but they're pushing up there to the top 10, top 8, right around there. They're moving on up. And if you get in the top 10 with that offense, Rams are very dangerous. We've all said it before.
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
Yeah, that's right. AQ. Now that we know the Cardinals are out, let's put a bow on their season. What went wrong for these guys, man? Right before the bye week, they were rolling, won like 3 or 4 in a row, came out of that, wasn't the same team. Put a bow on it.
Put a bow on it. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I think when you watch it is the turnovers. I think over the last 4 weeks, like I'm literally at brunch with Santa with my kids today, and I look up and I feel like I watched the same interception that I've watched for the last 4 weeks. It's the rollout to the right, try and force a play, underthrow on the sideline. Seattle did it and took it back for a touchdown. Happened today with 3 minutes left in the fourth. He's constantly he refuses to live to fight another day. And I'm talking about Kyler, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that you're seeing with him is if you just throw that ball away, you never know how this game ends, right? And it happens and it happens and it happens. And you just, in this league, turnovers kill you. They kill you. Like the minute you throw one, it's like percentage drops to here, right? Now you throw 2 interceptions in a game and you're a -2 takeaway. Boom. You almost have no shot at winning a game. And I think over the last 4 weeks, as they've taken this big dip down, I think that has been the biggest thing.
Don't get Jay going with turnovers, man. I see him all getting all excited.
No,
Turnovers, third down
Daniels
efficiency.
that today as they turned the ball over 4 times and ripped the Eagles' hearts out today. How about them Commanders, boys?
They're playing against Kenny Pickett. Let's relax over there.
Yeah,
Right?
two glove Kenny.
Oh man, yeah, that's right. That's hard. You turn the ball over 4 times and you still win. That's you're in the like less than 10% category of coming out on top in that game. But yeah, and also Kyler has turned the ball over. But listen, their defense hadn't been able to stop anybody all year. Really, the games that they did win, their defense played pretty good. I mean, Kyler Murray in this offense scored 30-something points. Like you go on the road, you score 30 points, you should win the game. Okay, so that's been the frustrating part for me watching the Cardinals is just, they haven't been able to consistently put people around Budda Baker and a few of these staple guys on defense to really go out and be able to, be a defense that just makes stops, gets turnovers, and gives it back to the offense and let them play. That part's been frustrating.
Let's be honest. This team has the talent to be at least 8-9. That's the best they can be. Right, their defense isn't good enough. Their skill guys aren't. Their offensive line's not good enough. They're an 8-9 football team. They won some games. Everybody's like, "Holy cow, you guys are playing good." Then they're going to come down to earth and play like an 8-9 team. That's what they are.
But that's the biggest thing, right? The biggest thing that both you guys just mentioned, and the fact that I brought up the fact about turnovers, right? When your defense is shit and you're not as talented as other teams in the league, you can't afford to make mistakes. Like
You're not the Detroit Lions.
Right. You have to be perfect on offense.
All right, so going into game predictions here, I'm guessing that everybody's picking the Rams here. Is that true? Can the Cardinals go out there and upset these guys? Can they play spoiler this week?
Get your discount codes out for Cabo, boys. I got the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I got the Rams too. I like the Rams. I like what they did against the Jets today. I thought it was kind of a boring game to watch, but it was effective. When you make that trip, you need to run the football against a Jets defense that struggles stopping the run, and they just continue to run it. They said, hell with it. We're not going to throw the ball. We threw the ball 19 times, and I thought it was a solid game plan. They got out of there with a W. That's the most important thing. But we also know they have the ability to throw it 45 times if need be. That's why I like the Rams. They can be versatile in their attack. You got to stop Kyron. Oh, my God. Now here comes Puka Cooper Cup. Now Higbee's back. Ah, God. So, yeah, they can hit you a lot of different ways, and the Rams are better right now.
They're playing a much worse defense than they played today in the Jets, right? And when they play the Cardinals. And so I think McVay will get back to doing what he does. I think that offense will be back to doing what they do. But I do think in a game like this where you're down 9-6 at one point in this game and you find ways to win, you learn more from these games than you do about the games where you put up 45 against the Bills a couple weeks ago, right? And so especially when it happens in December, late December, as the push goes on to the playoffs and you find ways to win, going on the road, not playing your best football, not scoring a ton of points, but you find ways to win, that's big for that team.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. They're on a roll.
God, we can't catch Jay now.
Yeah, I know.
Jay, go Cardinals, man. What are you doing?
I've been betting against the Cardinals all year, my friend. That's why I have a lead.